Hey James and everybody, here's a quick video on how to do some fast edits to really improve this picture. I love the perfect yellow stripe right down the middle, a perfect centered stripe in the middle of the frame like this. My initial criticism is that there's too much blue, and the power of this picture lies in the energy of the yellow, and on the color wheel in Photoshop, blue is opposite yellow. So let's take a look. If I go Image, Adjustment, Color Balance, and the shortcut is Control B. You can see all the shortcuts for all the Photoshop tools when they have a shortcut to the right here. And think about color first. When we see color, we ask the question, is it too much of anything? That is it too blue? Is it too red? Is it too green? And this was too blue, and also a little cyan as well. And you do see on this bottom, looks like a seesaw here with this little fulcrum in the middle, yellow to one side, blue to the other. That means these are opposite each other on a color wheel, and one cancels the other out. Or another way of putting that, if you added equal amounts of blue and yellow, you would get, well, one cancels the other. In other words, if I add yellow when something is too blue, it takes away that blue. You see that? And I'm seeing a little bit of green in here too. So same deal, green is on this side, so if I add the opposite, just a little bit, not much, and a tiny bit of cyan, I'm seeing a little bit of cyan, so I'm going to add just a touch of red, just a touch, warm it up a little bit. Okay, and next, if I slightly vignette the outer edge, that means darken, it'll draw your attention to this center here more. And the way I like to do, and a lot of pictures benefit from this, is to take the elliptical marquee tool, second tool down, click and hold, and underneath is a flyout of these other tools. So the second tool, and then in the second tool it's the second type of marquee, and then holding Alt on a PC, I'm pulling and dragging from the center to create this oval shape. Now what's happening is what's in the middle is selected and what is outside is not selected. So if I inverse this by going Select, Inverse, right here, what's now selected is the outside. Now if I darken this just the way it is, it's going to look silly because this is a 1 pixel line. Let me just show you how that would look. Image, Adjustment, Brightness, Contrast, and oops, my tool is on another monitor. Hold on a second. Okay, I just pulled that in. If I darken that outer edge without blending that in, to see what happens, that's not very good. So let me cancel that. And what we do is feather everything. And every time I make a selection, this is a common theme for the class. This is burning and dodging in darkroom terms. Burning is adding more light and making the area of a print darker. Dodging is taking away light when we're in a traditional darkroom. This may sound confusing until you've worked with film and paper, but those are the terms. So up here, right in the options for this tool is Select and Mask. You click that, and that kind of opens up this whole dialog here. And what I want to do is dial up Feather till it blends way in like that. See how this is blended, blended, blended. And I've got it, in this case, 100 pixels, but this is a low-res picture. And now I'm going to darken it. And let me also hide Control H is the quick shortcut for hiding the selection. It's still there, it's just hidden. Image, adjustment, brightness, contrast. And quiet down the outer edge, just like that. When it's done well, you'd almost not be able to tell anything. And I'm going to invert it one more time, and I'm going to strengthen the yellow just a little bit more with something called hue and saturation. So image, adjustment, hue and saturation. The shortcut is Control U. And because this is all about that yellow, if I increase the saturation of the yellow, it's going to become even more yellow, more dynamic. You can also use something called levels to increase the contrast, and contrast is how light lights are and how black blacks are. So I'm going image, adjustment, levels, Control L is the shortcut. And it doesn't need much, actually. I'm just going to tweak up the light a little bit and the mid-tone in a little bit, just making that a little punchier. And that's it. So we can look at the history now, and this little bunch of steps with a backwards arrow is our history. And it's always useful to compare the opening to the present. So when this is how James posted his picture, and this is how it looks now. You see a tremendous difference? Okay, cameras are a tool that doesn't understand what you're looking at necessarily, and that's why an important part of this class is learning how to edit. And editing for expression, editing for strength and power to really help the camera along. And that's not editing for changing anything in terms of altering reality or doing anything untruthful. It's more to strengthen your original vision, to bring up more of what you saw when you photographed that in the first place. Okay, see you on the blog.